Hi, I'm Denise Fuller, and I'm going to read an excerpt from my blog titled How I Met My Fathers with an S. My new friend Denise Fuller recently asked me how I met my father. I cannot talk about how I met my dad without talking about how I met my father, Jesus Christ. I may have written a post about it in the past, but just in case I did not, I would love to have this story in my blog book for my children to use one day when I'm gone. To have and to hold as a treasure. If I could go back in time, I would love to remember the moment when I realized that my stepdad was not my birth father. I simply have no recollection of how that came to light. I do remember most of my life longing to meet my real dad. My stepfather was and is a good man, and he has always loved me and still does. He loves me like his very own. He is a retired police officer, and I remember seeing him in his uniform many times when I was a young girl. However, I think my pursuit of law enforcement came from watching way too much television. I was introverted and had very few friends. I was best friends with my diary, and I enjoyed being alone and being inside. I was so in love with Columbo, an old detective who solved every case before the cops even gathered all their evidence. And my second favorite was Charlie's Angels. It was so cool to watch those women solve cases and look so cute while doing it. Looking back, I had no idea about how real the crime was and how endless the paperwork would be. Anyway, in 2003, I had seen the movie Antoine Fisher. There were so many parts in the film where my heart was connected to his, Antoine's heart. I could feel his pain, and I could so relate to wanting answers. I knew the ending would turn out. I knew how the ending would turn out, and I wanted that for myself as well. I somehow believed that I would get it, and lo and behold, I did. I found my dad with the help of an employee at Andrews Air Force Base. A woman stole his identity, and someone that I know utilized a website called phonenumbers.com and helped me find Gerald Fuller. To think all of those resources helped me to discover that my birth father was alive and only 6.5 hours away, living in Hartville, Ohio. I called him on July 8, 2003, and we spoke as I made the announcement that sealed our hearts forever. I said, "Hello, my name is Denise and I'm your daughter." The rest unfolded like a fairy tale. We met, hugged, cried, shared, laughed, and cried some more. We introduced long-lost relatives, exchanged numerous photographs, and settled into a loving relationship just like a pair of comfortable shoes. Now, not only that, but we have so much in common that it's not even funny. Strangely enough, a part of me always felt that if I had found my birth father, I'd be at peace, I'd be happier, and I'd somehow feel complete. Well, that was not the case. After the happiness settled in and the formalities began to fade, I still felt a longing. However, I had no idea what it was or how to feel it. 3 years after meeting my dad, my marriage ended. I am not one to advocate for divorce, but it was truly the best thing that could have happened to me. I was finally free and able to be still, not having to please anyone else. The kids were grown and on their own, and my need to be the good wife was no longer a need. I could sit still with myself and discover who I was and what it was that I wanted. In walked Jesus. Not that soon, but over the next 2 years, he was wooing me into his loving arms. Truthfully speaking, I believe that he was wooing me all of my life, but because of my deep-rooted fears and insecurities, I did not adhere to his voice. But at the age of 42, he was calling out to me in the quietness of the day and the subtleties of the night. Having been in relationships since I was 16 years old, I was finally alone with myself and my thoughts, and I could hear a voice unlike any voice I had ever heard before. It was soft, gentle, caring, and compassionate. When he called out my name, it was kind of familiar, but then again, it wasn't. God used Dr. Ed Young, Dr. Charles Stanley, Stacey Earle, and a man named Kenneth to witness to my heart. I was sitting in my family room in Waldorf, Maryland on May 4th, 2008, and Jesus Christ knocked on my door. I answered, opened up, and let him into my heart and into my life. I slowly began to trust him, something I had never fully done before. I was slowly shedding my old self, my old beliefs, and my old way of living in exchange for his love and his promises. The main promise being to never leave me. Of all the boys and men in my life that left me, Jesus promised to never do that. Now, what girl could say no to that? I have not one single regret about giving my life to the Lord. I have seen what he can do and what he will do to someone who wholeheartedly trusts in him and who has a longing to obey him. He did not say that this walk with him would be easy, but he did promise that I would not have to go it alone. He promised that my sins and my past would be forgiven if I repented with a pure heart, and he promised that if I allowed him to be the Lord of my life, that my name would be written in the Lamb's Book of Life, and that when this earthly life is over, I would be with him forever. How freeing. I do not have to struggle anymore. I do not have to people please. I do not have to place all my hope in man, only to be disappointed again and again. I do not have to be the queen of worry. God is in control, and all I have to do is believe and to trust. I choose to believe, and I have faith that he was and is to come. He is coming back soon for me and those that he loves. Those that he loves. Revelation 1:7-8 says that. Yes, he is my Father, and I am his beloved daughter. Just know that I can talk about my Father all day and how he's completely changed my life. But you can have the same great experience by surrendering and going directly to the source. The Holy Bible is all the hope you need. With Christ, there is forgiveness, redemption, salvation, peace, and unconditional love, something that most of us seek all our lives, unknowing that Christ is the answer. Don't delay. Please make a decision today. Ask Jesus to be your Lord. He will completely change and transform your life. He waited for me for over 40 years, and the joy and the peace that I have today, I cannot describe it to you in words. It is just a feeling deep within that you have to experience for yourself. So again, Do not delay. Make your decision today.